Welcome to Speak English with Tiffani. I am teacher Tiffani. Let's jump right in. Okay, the first thing you do in your daily routine is wake up. And the English expression you can use is crack of dawn. Okay, crack of dawn. Crack of dawn means a time very early in the morning or daybreak. So for example, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., or 6 a.m. So if you have a habit of getting up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., someone can say to you, wow, you usually get up at the crack of dawn. Okay, let's look at the first example in detail. Number 1, it says, my friend wants to go to the beach tomorrow. She has been quite busy at work these days, so she wants to relax a bit. Now, in this first sentence, or the second sentence actually, we see quite busy. Now, when you add the word quite in front of busy, it puts an emphasis on busy. So it means very, very busy. So maybe she has had a lot of projects that have kept her quite busy at work. And then at the end of this sentence, we also see she wants to relax a bit. Now, this a bit portion at the end or after the word relax just means a little. So it means to relax a little or for a short time. So instead of she wants to relax a bit, we can say she wants to relax a little. Okay, let's keep going. So I told her we have to get up at the crack of dawn in order to beat the traffic. Now, in a previous video, we went over in order to, okay, in order to. But very quickly, in order to just means so that something can be, let's see if we can write this faster. Something can be done. So the reason they're going to get up at the crack of dawn is so that they can beat the traffic. Now, beat the traffic is also a really good expression for you guys to know when you're traveling or when you're going somewhere. So beat the traffic means to go out or leave for a journey. Go out or leave before the traffic starts. Before the traffic, I have to write really small now. Traffic, let's see if we can get this in here. Starts. Okay. Ooh, this is really close. Let's see if we can mark this off a little bit right here. Let's do this. So later on, you won't be confused. So once again, beat the traffic refers to going out or leaving before the traffic starts. Okay, so let's look at the meaning. Now remember, we saw, she said, I told her we have to get up at the crack of dawn in order to beat the traffic. So she's telling her friend, let's get up early so that we can leave before the traffic starts. Let's get up around 5 a.m. so that we can get ready and leave early before the traffic starts. Okay, number 2. When I had my first baby, I remember the first month being the hardest month for my husband and I. It's pretty easy. She always went to bed earlier than us, which meant that she also got up earlier than us. Okay, now which meant is used when we want to talk about a cause that leads to something. So cause and effect. So we have cause and result. So instead of effect, let's say cause and result. So what was the cause? Well, we see here, she always went to bed earlier than us. That was the cause. And what was the result? The result was she also got up earlier. So what was the cause? She went to bed. The result, she got up earlier. Okay, let's keep going. On many occasions, she woke us up at the crack of dawn with her crying. Okay, so this sentence is talking about someone's baby going to bed early, which means that they will get up early. And getting up early means they will get up maybe about 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., which was the crack of dawn. Okay, the next thing you do is normally to check your phone. So, an English expression we can use is first things first. First things first is used to tell someone that more important things should be done first. Okay, so basically putting a priority on things that are important. So our first example, let's look at our first example. It says, Anthony knows that he has to go back to his hometown for the annual family gathering. Remember, annual just means something that happens every year, okay? Something that happens every year, okay? So your birthday is an annual event or annual personal holiday, okay? Let's keep going. But first things first, he has to finish the last few portions of the project he has been working on over the past month. Okay, so really quickly, the last few portions, okay? Portions, and then sometimes you can add of depending on what you're talking about, but few portions. This just is another way of saying few parts. Okay, few parts of something. Okay, few parts. So let's say your job is a circle. You need to work on this project, you need to work on this project, and you need to work on this project. Well, this project makes up this portion right here, and he needs to finish this portion before he goes to the family gathering. Okay, so again, first things first refers to doing the most important things before other things. So there are two things being compared. Going to his family gathering and also getting the last few portions of his project finished at his job. So he says, first things first, I must complete the project. Okay? All right, let's keep going. Number 2, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to today's meeting. We will be discussing our plan for the upcoming year and also multiple business strategies. Okay, upcoming is another way that we say the next. Now let's use a different color. The next dot dot dot. That dot looks a little strange. Dot dot dot. Or the one that is coming up next. Okay, so let's keep going. But first things first, does anyone have any questions they would like to ask me before we start? So in this sentence, what's happening? There are two things that will happen. There will be a discussion, but there's also a time needed for questions. And this person is saying that the questions are the most important at this time. And the discussion is number 2. Let's give another hash right there. The discussion is number 2. So number 1, ask the questions. Number 2, we'll have a discussion. So first things first, does anyone have any questions? All right, after checking your phone, you usually eat food. Whether it's breakfast or whatever you have, you eat food. So in English, you can use the expression grab a bite. Grab a bite. Grab a bite means to get something to eat or to get food that can be eaten quickly. Now, usually during your daily routine, you get very busy. So you have to grab something very quick. So a bite, okay? It's one bite, okay? So let's keep going. Looking at the first example, it says, I'm usually quite busy on Friday mornings because we have a weekly staff meeting right after lunch. Now remember, we learned that quite busy is a way to emphasize what? Do you remember? That's right. Very, very busy. Okay, I'll leave it in this color. All right, let's keep going. Right after lunch. So in English, when we say right after something, now right after is used to emphasize that it will be directly following something. Okay? directly following. Okay, it means that there will be nothing in between. So for example, if the meeting ends at 11:55, lunch will be at 12 o'clock. So there's only a 5-minute gap, but it's right after. Okay, so right after. Let's keep going. So I normally just grab a bite to eat from the corner store on the first floor of our building. Then I run to our meeting. Okay, so you see we have grab a bite, and again, this is just talking about getting something to eat. So the first example was quite simple. Let's move on to number 2. Since I am on a diet, I only grab a quick bite of something simple in the morning. Okay, so here we have, since I am, dang, dang, dang. So we use this when we want to express the reason for something. The reason, okay? The reason for an action. For example, since I enjoyed running as a child, I always wanted to be on the track team. Okay, so what is the reason that I wanted to be on the track team as a child? Because I enjoyed running. That was the reason. Okay, let's keep going. But during the day, I usually get hungry. So in the afternoon, I eat a big lunch. I really look forward to these afternoon feasts. Okay, so look forward to is the one we want to look at really quickly here. Look forward to, okay? This just means to hope for something, or to hope or be excited about something happening. To hope for or be excited about something. Excited, let's do E-D, about, let's make this be clearer, something, almost there, that will happen. Okay, there we go. So again, grab a quick bite means to get something quick to eat. So in the second example, the person says, I'm on a diet, so I can only grab a quick bite of something simple in the morning. They're talking about something that they're going to eat, but they're going to eat it very quickly, okay? Because they're running to work or they have many things to do, okay? All right, after eating food, you usually go to work. So in English, you can express this by saying, hit the road. Hit the road. Hit the road means to depart or to begin one's journey, especially on a road trip, or to leave. So our first example says, my family and I are going on vacation tomorrow, but the beach house is about 5 hours away. So my dad said we need to hit the road early in order to beat the traffic. Now remember, we learned this earlier, beat the traffic. Do you remember? That's right. Beat the traffic just means to leave before the traffic. So the first example is speaking about leaving to head out on a journey. They're going to go on vacation. So when you're leaving your home and you're traveling somewhere, we say hit the road, okay? So I'm leaving in the morning to go to work. Oh, I need to hit the road. Why? I have to get to work now, okay? So hit the road. Number 2, it says, whenever my friends and I travel anywhere together, we try to hit the road late at night because there are less cars on the road. Okay, this one is very simple. So my friends and I, we like to travel, but we really enjoy leaving late at night when there are less cars. So instead of leaving, we say hit the road. So after you go to work, you normally do work. And an English expression for this period is piece of cake. Piece of cake. Piece of cake means something that is easy to do, something that is easy to achieve. So our first example is, in high school, my math teacher said she could solve any math problem. So my friends and I challenged her with a difficult math problem. But it turned out to be a piece of cake for her. She finished it in less than 30 seconds. Now, there's one expression that we need to look at, one pattern. It turned out to be. Okay? This is also speaking about the result. Okay? The result. So, the result, and it's usually the unexpected result. So, for example, let's say you go to the concert of someone you've never heard about. You don't think they're going to sing maybe as well as Michael Jackson or another famous superstar, but then you go and it turns out that they're an amazing singer. So the result was unexpected. All right, so in the first example, these high school students wanted to give their teacher a difficult math problem, but it turned out to be, again, unexpectedly, very easy for her. It was a piece of cake. So, similar, when you're at your job is something you do every single day. So it's very easy for you. It's a piece of cake. So during your daily routine, if you're speaking about your job, you can say, it's a piece of cake. Certain parts of your job may be a piece of cake or very easy. All right, number 2, it says, fixing my car was a piece of cake for my uncle because he is a mechanic. Again, his job is working on cars. So he does it every single day, which means it is very easy for him. So, piece of cake. All right, so after you've done some work, you have to attend a meeting in your daily routine. And one English expression that we can use is in over one's head. In over one's head means too deeply involved in or with a difficult situation. So something is going on that is too much for you. It's too difficult, but you're involved in it. Okay, let's look at the first example. When my boss initially explained the project details to me, I thought it was going to be a cinch. Okay, now real quick, there are 2 different patterns I want us to look at really quickly. First is a vocabulary word though, initially. Okay, initially is just a word that we use when we want to speak about in the beginning or the first time. Okay, in the beginning. So in the beginning. So initially I liked ice cream, but after a while I stopped liking it. So initially, in the beginning. Okay, and then the next thing we see in this sentence is a cinch. A cinch. Now, I purposely added this because you just learned the term piece of cake. So, a cinch and piece of cake have the exact same meaning. Okay? So, they are the exact same. A cinch means piece of cake. So, this also means a piece, let's do this, of cake. Or just very easy. Let's do this. Let's put the easy up top right here. Easy. So a cinch, okay? Let's keep going. But after saying yes and then looking over the project more carefully, I realized that I was in over my head. Now again, remember, in over my head means to be deeply involved with a difficult situation, but too deeply, okay? It means it's too much for you. So, what happened in the first example? The boss explained a project and the person thought it was going to be easy or a piece of cake or a cinch. But after a while, the person realized, this is too much for me. They were in over their head, okay? This sometimes happens when you're at work or when you're studying or doing something or on a project. You get in over your head during your daily routine, okay? Number 2, let's look at the next example. It says, mothers of newborn babies usually feel like they are way in over their heads. Now, you'll notice I added way. So, this is just used to place emphasis. So, it's used to emphasize this expression right here. So instead of just saying in over their heads, they say way in over their heads. It means really difficult, really more than they thought that they could handle. Okay, let's keep going. They have to cook, clean, and take care of their babies. So By the end of the day, they are super exhausted. Okay? So again, this is an easy one to understand because moms have to take care of their babies and it's a lot of work. So sometimes they feel overwhelmed, okay? And again, we use super, again, just to emphasize the level of exhaustion. Okay, so you can use that as well. I'm super exhausted. Or, after work, man, I felt super exhausted. Okay, so when you feel in over your head, okay, during your day, maybe you have a lot of work to do and you feel in over your head. So after the meeting, we have a lunch convo. Now, convo is just a short way of saying conversation. So conversation is the word, but sometimes when Americans or British people speak, we say convo. Okay, so lunch convo. So a conversation during lunchtime. And an expression that we're going to learn is back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board is used to indicate that an idea or proposal has been unsuccessful and that a new one must be created or discussed. Okay, you must start over or start from the beginning. Okay, let's look at number one. Number one says, after working for a full month on the project, they realized that they had done it all wrong. Okay, now in English, when we say all wrong, it is used to emphasize that everything is wrong. So again, all wrong, when we add all to the front, it's used to emphasize that everything, let's do this, emphasize that everything was wrong. Just, it's used for emphasis, okay? Let's keep going. So their boss told them to go back to the drawing board and come up with a new plan. Okay, here we see come up with. Okay, come up with means to create or think of, to create or to think of something new, to come up with. Okay, so the first example is talking about a project that someone was working on, but their boss was not pleased, so they had to go back to the drawing board. This happens sometimes at work. Okay, and number two says, the architect who built our house said that it took him a full 6 months just to come up with the design. Okay, now we see it says a full 6 months. So when you add a full, again, this is also for emphasis. This is for emphasis and saying that it took the total amount, okay? The total, okay? Now, at the end of the sentence, once again, you'll see come up with. So he came up with a new design. He created something new. Okay, let's keep going. He told us that he had to go back to the drawing board more than 10 times. So in this example, the architect is explaining that his first few, or more than few, his first 10 times of designing and trying to come up with ideas for their house were not successful. So he had to start over again, or he had to go back to the drawing board. So in your daily routine, you can also use this expression depending on if you're working or if you're at school, when you have to start something over again. I have to go back to the drawing board. So during our lunch conversation, we can have a time where we give ideas to each other about how to fix or how to make a new plan regarding a project we're working on. Okay, let's go to the next one. Then we work more. And the expression we can use is bite off more than I can chew. Bite off more than I can chew means to try to do a task that is too big for you or too difficult. Okay, there are certain things that maybe you have to do during the day, but sometimes they're a little bit difficult. At that time, you can say, bite off more than I can chew. Okay, the first example says, I bit off more than I could chew when I volunteered to teach 30 elementary school students how to play soccer. It was much more difficult than I had anticipated. Okay, all right, so here you'll see we say much more. Again, you could say it was more difficult, But we use the combination of much more when we want to emphasize that it was extremely difficult. So this is for emphasis or to emphasize, okay? So what are we talking about in this first example? Well, teaching 30 elementary school students how to play soccer. That is a very difficult thing to do for one person. So they said it was a little bit more than they expected or anticipated. They had bitten off more than they could chew. Okay? All right. Number 2, let's look at the second example. Number 2 says, I made a goal to memorize 100 vocabulary words a day. But after a few days, I realized that I had bit off more than I could chew because I also had a full-time job. Okay, now what you'll notice here, we say full-time job. Now, some of you may know this, but just as a reminder, full-time job usually means 8 hours or more. So 8 plus hours, okay? The opposite is part-time, but full-time usually means 8 or more hours at a job. We say full-time job, okay? So this person made a goal. Every day learn 100 vocabulary words, but they realized later that that was a lot. That was a big goal. It was too difficult. It was too big of a task. So they had bit off more than they could chew, okay? Now, remember, when you're talking about your daily routine, you can think about things that you're doing. And sometimes you have a long list of tasks, but sometimes they're more than you can do. You can say, ooh, man, today I bit off more than I could chew. All right. After we do lots of work, then we leave, and sometimes on the way home, we shop for food, for dinner, or for the meal for the next day. But an expression we can use is cost an arm and a leg. Cost an arm and a leg means to be extremely expensive. Now, this expression is used throughout the day whenever you're going to go shopping or whenever you have to shop for food or shop for clothing. It can be used a lot depending on what store you're going to. So in our first example, it says, it cost an arm and a leg to take our entire family to Hawaii for a vacation, but it was well worth it because we had an amazing time. Now, in this sentence, you'll see, well worth it. Okay, this is an expression or a pattern that we use in English to say, I have no regrets. I have no regrets after doing it. Okay? After doing something. Okay? So for example, this person took their whole family to Hawaii. Well, Hawaii is very expensive, but they had such a great time. They had no regrets after spending the money. Okay? We say well worth it. So if someone asks, oh, should I go to America to visit? I know it's expensive. Somebody else can say to them, no, it's well worth it. You should visit. Okay, that means you won't have any regrets. Okay, so this person is talking about the trip being expensive, but it also was worth it. Cost an arm and a leg. Instead of saying expensive, they said it cost an arm and a leg. Okay, next example. My husband and I want to redecorate our kitchen, but we realized that it will cost us an arm and a leg to get it professionally done. So we just decided to do it ourselves. Okay, so again, this is very easy to understand. They want to redecorate their kitchen, but they know it's very expensive to get things done in a house when you want to hire someone to do something in your house. So they decided to do it themselves. Now, really quickly, in English, there's an acronym that maybe you guys have heard before. DIY. DIY stands for what? Do it yourself. Okay? DIY. Let's circle the middle one. Okay? DIY. Do it yourself. Okay? So, cost an arm and a leg just means to be extremely expensive. Okay, so after we've shopped for the food, then we go home and eat and relax. And the perfect English expression is unwind. Unwind. Unwind means to relax after working or doing a difficult task. Usually after a long day of work or study or whatever your schedule is, you usually want to go home and just relax. Instead of saying I want to relax, you can say I want to unwind. Okay? Just means to relax. So first example, let's look at the first example. After a long day at work, the first thing I want to do when I get home is kick my shoes off, sit on the sofa, and just unwind. Now this is very easy to understand because think about it. When I get home, I want to kick my shoes off. Okay, it means just throw them off your feet. Then it says sit on the sofa and then unwind. The perfect situation. Okay, let's look at example number 2. Number 2, it says, sometimes people find it hard to unwind after a busy day at work. Now in this sentence, we'll see find it hard to. Okay, now this is used when you want to talk about something that is difficult to do. Okay, something is difficult to do. So for example, sometimes students say, teacher, I really want to speak English, but it's kind of difficult to learn how to speak English. So instead of saying difficult, they can say, I find it hard to study English. Or I find it hard to learn different vocabulary words. So let's move on to the next sentence. They have a hard time not thinking about all of the work they have to do the next day. Okay, so again, this is just talking about having a long day, and as your day is coming to an end, you want to relax. You want to unwind. Now, after we eat and relax, the end of our day or the end of our daily routine is for us to go to sleep. And an English expression that is very popular is hit the sack. Hit the sack. Hit the sack just means to go to bed. It's that simple, to go to bed. So the first example says, I have an early flight tomorrow, so I decided to hit the sack a little earlier than usual. Now, you'll notice that it says than usual, okay? So we use this expression when we want to compare to our normal schedule. So compared to our normal action, schedule, or plan. Okay? Normal action. Okay? I went to bed a little earlier than usual, or I ate more than usual, or I talked longer than usual. Compared to our normal action. Okay? Then let's keep going. I want to be well rested when I get up in the morning. So, right here, well rested. This is just another way of saying to not feel tired. To not feel tired. Okay, I don't want to feel tired in the morning. So, again, this person is talking about going to bed early. Why? Because they have a flight in the morning. So, I want to hit the sack early. I want to go to bed early. And number 2, it says the children wanted to stay up and watch one more movie, but their parents told them that it was already past their bedtime. So they all had to hit the sack. So again, at the end of your daily routine, everyone has to go to bed. And the same is true for you. So instead of saying I'm going to bed, now in English you can say I'm going to hit the sack. Keep learning by going to speakenglishwithtiffani.com/ebooks and speakenglishwithtiffani.com/courses. Keep learning. You can do it. Remember to subscribe.